Right. Okay, good morning everyone. I think today, Melissa, I'm going to go through one of the pages. So this is, I'm just showing everyone the screenshot. My screen's being recorded as we talk. I think they'll only be able to hear me because my headphones are plugged in, and this computer doesn't have it only has one audio jack, and you can only plug in the one, what is it? Not the microphone part, but the other wire.
It's okay if we can only hear you.
Sorry, I'm a bit tired.
Oh no, that's okay. But that's okay.
I'm not sure if they can hear you, that's all.
Okay.
Because you're like just in my head, Melissa.
That's all good. That's a good place to be.
You're a voice in my head, no. Okay, well, I thought we'd start this by mentioning something that's apt to the golden crystal age. As everyone knows, we're going into the golden crystal age. A lot of people just call it the golden age and all this stuff. I don't know if, but it could have correlation with 1,000 years of peace on earth that the Bible said, and then after that 1,000 years something will happen again. I can't remember, like hell will return or something, something bad. And I was thinking that maybe that could be when the pole flip finally finishes, when we have pole shift, because apparently the pole is moving like 40 kilometers a year or something right now. So anyway, I was thinking that's when we could have the next ice age in 1,000 years from now, at the end of the golden age, when we figure out gold and we go to space and stuff finally in this next 1,000 years. And so anyway, I call it the golden crystal age. And there's all these correlations, like DMT, the world's most powerful hallucinogen, is a crystal, and it makes you more clear, and it'll get you deeper into the regions of your soul. So DMT will increase clarity because it's crystal too. And salt. We're finding out there's a book out there about how you can change. If you want to do something for your diet, a good thing to do is there's a book about how just water and just salt, regulating those two, will do wonders for your diet if you do nothing else. And David Wolf goes on about that too. So maybe he's read that book, I don't know, but he's mentioned that in a couple of his talks on stage there at the LA Hilton too, on the Longevity Warehouse YouTube playlist. And he's saying, it's salt's kind of just as in, like right after water in importance. We're basically an upright walking column of salt water, run by adrenaline, pushing us upright. And we get calcites, these little parasites in us, which are like becoming arthritis and stuff. And so we're basically an upright walking column of salt water. And so salt and water is, the base of your intake. And I've noticed this too. I started experimenting with it, and then I started having more Himalaya Sole. I just started experimenting with all the salts I had around me. And I definitely noticed a toxic effect from sodium, just table salt, sodium chloride, I think it is. I can't remember the second part of the molecule. But normal table salt, I think it's sodium chloride. It definitely feels like a toxin or a poison, and it makes me like sort of cringe and really like tighten up, get that tight sort of feeling, and it's not good. And during the last 6 months working at Caldera Environmental as a researcher there, I was researching glyphosate, and this is just for work for the dole in Australia. You don't actually get paid for this, but I just thought, oh, that's a good organisation that lines up with what I do. And I was researching glyphosate just because I started working on a farm here and there, and I do food plant teaching and stuff. And the thing is, glyphosate's LD50 is 5,000 and table salt's 3,000. So I just want everyone to realise that it is pretty toxic. You know, that's not bad. Like psychedelics have LD50s of like 125 milligrams per kilogram instead of 5,000. So, oh, sorry, did I say glyphosate had 5,000? Sorry, table salt had 5,000, and glyphosate, I think, is 3,000 milligrams per kilogram LD50. Sorry, the other way around. So obviously, the more, say it's 10,000 milligram per kilogram, that's less dangerous and less toxic. It's a better LD50 to have. So, you know, the psychedelics have lower LD50s and thus can be considered more toxic, but we're doing that for divination and there's reason and meaning behind it. That's why we don't just get on these things and, you know, have a wild party or something. That's not just what it's about. Sometimes we have a bit of a party with them to let loose and stuff. Yeah, I understand, but you know, and I am young, but you know, there's reason, much more deeper reason and meaning that we take those things. Anyway, moving on. What I was getting at was how it's the golden crystal age, and I'm just mentioning some crystals like salt and DMT I mentioned. Now, what I did want to really mention was apparently there's these crystals that soak up your body odor. So if anyone wants to buy me those, go ahead, make my day. But apparently they're body odor absorbing crystals, and they soak up your BO, and I definitely need them because I don't use much soaps and stuff. I use natural soaps now and then, but mainly coconut oil. Anyway, sorry, what was that, Melissa?
Yeah, I have a deodorant called Body Crystal. I should go get it and see what's in it.
Body crystal, and it's a deodorant.
Yeah,
I'm not
and
sure if that's the one. I think they're actual like crystals, but I haven't researched it, so it might be, but I don't think so. I don't think it's a deodorant. I think they're like actual like little crystals or
crystals.
something.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. So that's just a quick introduction. For everyone who doesn't know who's talking, this is Benjamin Kaunberg, the site creator of this website here, Consciousazine.com. Let's take you to, see, last time we explored Natural Remedies Guru page on another health talk I did. That's a 5-hour talk. Near the end of it, in the second half of the talk, approaching health multidimensionally, and you can find that in the playlist, the Consciousness playlist here on YouTube. In that talk, I took you over the Natural Remedies Guru page, but in today's talk, I want to go right to one of the end pages, Amalgaman Maximum Novelty Health. It's just one of the new health pages that I've got in here. Oh, let's read this part, because it is written by Riser from Goldring Game of Enlightenment and Abundance, and from the video 2012 Light of the Fifth Sun 2, Weishou's Neuroscience Goldring, and he's from Goldring Game of Enlightenment and Abundance, and Riser5 is his like YouTube nickname. I forgot his actual name. I've got him on LinkedIn, but I forgot his name. So anyway, the initiation of mass consciousness into oneness of shared intention is the fundamental agreement of those who have come forth as way-showers in the work of re-establishing unity and oneness. This is accomplished without judgment. Judgment brings fear, separation, and simulates mental centers of the parietal lobes, the amygdala, hippocampus, and reticular formation dream state response through the pons and brainstem survival reactions. The effect of fear causes static throughout the limbic system, making it impossible for emotion to integrate with the higher centers of the brain. And now we're not talking, you know, erroneous emotions, but you're in an emotionality, in the fourth dimensionality, where where energy becomes tangential. So your emotional tangentiality. Fear turns off the reception of higher light by creating a fog of discordant vibrations. This is a parietal dissonance, and which impedes the ability of the brain to receive higher frequency light, which is refracted and enhanced by the pineal, pituitary, through the lens of the septum pellucidum membrane and into the quantum mind field. So that was a little excerpt out of that video. There's a cool picture for people to view on the video. It just reads, "Is it natural?" and a lady's face going yes, and then a kid, this little kid, that little baby who's become famous on the internet for pumping his fist, and it
Yeah.
says, prob's good, and then it says natural and illegal, yes, prob's very good, and then it says natural, illegal, and banned by the FDA, and the lady's saying yes, and the baby's going, prob's cures death.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what have we come to, anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the UNC method, I call it, orgasm method for rejuvenation, longevity, and health plus plus, that I've written out. It's on orgasming and rejuvenation through the Sushumna tract. And just let me talk, Melissa, because I'm hearing you in my ear and it's putting me off while I'm trying to just talk for everyone. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I just hear you in my ear while I'm talking. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
sorry.
listen inside.
Oh, shut up.
No, I'm just saying, just try to hold it back a little bit, please. Because I'm going to lose where I'm up to. I have to stay concentrated for this. Anyway, yeah, this is a orgasm rejuvenation post, so there's just, it's building. And, you know, I guess we should take a minute to talk about this, because we've just come out of history where they burnt books and they put burqas on women. You know what I'm saying? Well, what I'm saying is, you know, they've covered the women, they've covered the light in any way they can. They've covered the light by burning books. They've covered the light by, you know, the misuse of the information, and they've covered the light by covering the light, by putting clothes on us and everything. You know, the brutal naked light of the truth is something. And so if we don't have that, we have something else other than that, other than the best day ever. So here's a picture of two people having sex and all the effects. Now we can't read it. I'm not sure where this is from. I can't even read where this picture's from, and oh well. There's plenty out there on the internet. This is just one I put there to make everyone realise there's a lot of positive effects. And you can see her pineal sort of shining there in the picture from the Sushumna tract there. And, you know, obviously there's going to be all these effects that it's saying there. Oh, here we go. Here's a few. This is from another website. Now, these are just little things like it relieves headaches and all this. Apparently, make love slowly, smoothly, and in a relaxed way reduces the chances of suffering dermatitis, skin rashes, and acne, even. So, I mean, there's some divine remedy here for depression. It relieves, you know, by sending out endorphins and so on. So, you know, I think in the first video, Melissa asked me about, you know, what do you think about the positive thinking and, you know, positive affirmations and all that. Of course, it's good, and it's good for our biology. The only thing I mentioned was don't let it make you too airhead, and that was the only, like, negative thing I wanted to mention, so that people didn't get negative on me. I'll steer away from any more negative things. Anyway, here's a little, like, daily routine. People have asked me for, like, little routines and stuff, and here's just one I wrote out off the top of my head. Firstly, never own a disease, so when you wake up, it's a new day. Upon waking, you eat light and meditate and or Kui Chi yogatate. Then you drink water, or you could drink the water during and before, with apple cider vinegar or alkaline, just some sort of alkaline water or tea. If you're really waking up too alkaline, you're one of those metabolism people, well then have a coffee. But you know, I still wouldn't recommend it. Then you proceed with medicine to eat something antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, such as thyme. You go frolic in the garden and you ground out. So you've just, that's a really good morning washout, just very simple and just doing it quickly on your way out. Then you take supplementation, tinctures, tonics and elixirs and ferments. Then you do Magnus Opus with a smile on your face until 1 p.m. It must be your Magnus Opus, no work for another. This is your life. And I did have an angel say to me, inflammation goes in so far as you get inflamed the second you walk off your path. So anyway, to addend the aforementioned, it is so that your left brain is not overloaded, as the right brain does not require barely any sleep. So if you're doing your magnus opus, you'll notice you can stay awake even longer as well. Then you eat your lunch. By night you would psychedeliate in darkness by yourself to seek some real depths. So I've put meditating into the clearing basket at the start here, and I've put psychedeliating and heavy dreaming at the end of the basket, and it does fit in to me in the natural cycle of the day. So there's just a little sort of routine and how I might think about that routine. Now, is there anything you want to ask before we go on, Melissa?
No, I'm just enjoying everything you're saying.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about you anyway. If you've got nothing to ask me, I'll still directing it towards you.
Okay, that's good. I'll let you direct.
Um, oh yeah, you said your son was eating 6 packets of seaweed chips, and yesterday, synchronistically enough, I got my first packet of seaweed chips just randomly walking into the Lennox Head health food store, and I've never been to the Lennox Head health food store, so I didn't know what was in for me, and so I stumble in there and I see the seaweed chips and went, oh, how come I haven't seen these ones anywhere else? And yeah, they turned out to be really thin and a little bit crunchy, so I was happy they weren't chewy and crap, so they're actually pretty good. And they leave your mouth like salty, so it's kind of as mimicking, you know, normal potato chips. Now, what's wrong with eating normal potato chips is they sometimes heat them, I think, over 250 degrees or something. And if it's heated over 250 or 350, I think it is, then it creates this thing that's cancerous in chips. Something like aceldite or something like that it's called. It's on the Natural Remedies Guru page anyway. So yeah, we definitely want to move to alternative eating known as health food eating. I think, yeah, so I got my first packet of seaweed chips yesterday. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So he was eating 6 of them. Jeez. Because you know what, I also bought some sour super kraut, it's called. And, oh no, this was the other day actually, but I did buy more yesterday. But the day before, or a few days before, I bought this super kraut, it's called in Australia, made from Tasmanian. It's got Tasmanian seaweed in it as well. And I went, oh, nice, because I've been looking for wakame everywhere, because it contains fucose, which is like neurotransmitting or helping in your brain somehow. It's a brain sugar. I've forgotten. I think it helps with, you know, brain transmission because it's a sugar. So there's 8 essential sugars. I didn't used to know that. We all know there's like 18 amino acids, essential fatty acids and all this stuff, but there's actually also 8 essential sugars. And I was like, ooh, okay, makes sense. So you can see David Wolf's talk on that actually. I forget what it's called. It might be the talk on polysaccharides, because polysaccharides are long-chain sugars. Anyway, turning almost into fats or something. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I went into the shop the other day and bought the super kraut, and I noticed it had ormus in it. So I go to the counter and I said to the lady, how good are the health products getting these days, eh? Everything's got ormus in it. Yeah, I just thought, this is amazing, you know, we're really making progress. And I thought then, how much is that going to affect that little dude, you know, your son? How much is that going to affect these people in the future, you know, this change of eating from basically, you know, eating death to eating life? And, well, they're going to pump out life instead of pumping out death, right?
That's right.
It's going to change the whole of society. Now, don't confuse biorevolution with ascension. Okay, full stop. We've talked about brushing teeth in the 5-hour health video, Approaching Health Multidimensionally with Justine, so I'm not going to go into that. We could talk about aura and stuff. What do you know about aura, Melissa?
I'm still studying it myself. I know that to be truly healthy, you cannot have cracks in your aura.
Mm.
You need to heal the cracks in your aura, and you can do that, through so many modalities. But you could go to a healer to do it, spiritual healer, like myself, or you could ask your higher, ascended masters and whatnot. It depends what, gels with you.
No, yeah, I agree, and it's funny you just mentioned what's on the screen, Melissa. You should guess what's on the screen. It's called the Human Auric Layers,
Wow.
Mohsen Paul Zervasi, PhD, and it's
Yeah.
about, guess what? Auric energy cracks.
Oh
And
my
you've just
God.
mentioned that to me while I'm looking at this on the screen. No one else can hear that because you're like in my microphone, but that's what just happened.
It's beautiful.
Another synchronicity between us. I'll take
Awesome.
it as a little sign anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's it.
this
So
yeah
that's the key is healing the cracks. And really
yeah
every day. You don't, if you have cracks in your aura, you're leaking out good stuff and you don't want to do that. You want to keep it into your
yeah.
inner
Melissa was
borders.
just saying like you can heal your aura in many ways, and that's true because to me an aura is a makeup of like every interaction you've ever had, every sex you've had, every conversation you've had. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Totally
I'm
understand.
serious. Your aura is like a makeup of your whole path here. And, NASA has these gas discharge cameras. There's also the GDV camera by Korotov in Russia. Apparently, they can see your aura and then tell mineral deficiencies and everything from it. So, an aura is like this make-up thing, and of every conversation, interaction you've had, and this book here looks interesting, and I have read some of it. It says a detailed discussion of the auric geometry and mechanics has been presented, and indeed, it's very detailed. This book, fundamentals of the mechanics and mathematical modeling, even regarding the process of energetic leakage as a result of microfracture of auric skin due to differential pressure across the auric boundary layer, has been deliberated. A comprehensive account of the theory of elasticity pertaining to the subject matter based upon tensorial formulation has been presented. It is explained that microcracks occur in the auric skin due to excessive tensile strain or stretch as a result of disproportionate differential pressure within and without the auric field. The pertinence of microcrack nucleation, opening in cleavage, and propagation due to compressive as opposed to tensile type stimulus such as pressurizing has been clarified to be due to a phenomena in mechanics of continuum known as the Poisson or Poisson, I don't know, Poisson effect. It is concluded that auric energetic leakage or bleeding occurs when excessive stretch occurs in the auric skin that is given by and there's a little equation, where another equation, Poisson ratio, Young modulus, constitute the material properties of the auric skin. Something denotates the extent of differential pressure existing within and without an auric layer, and another little symbol depicts the critical value of stretch in the auric skin, causing microfracture. And indeed, when the pressure inside and outside an auric layer is the same, the distributed pressurizing forces resulting at the auric skin cancel one another out, and consequently the little equation and thus tensile stretching of the auric skin does not occur. So there you go. That's a very detailed, right?
That's wonderful.
Now, let's see my comments. I'm stretching the red part of my aura via my heart palpitations. I've said here, this is me. I'm headed towards stroke and attack and shit, eh? I said, if I keep walking that, I can feel it. So where have I got this from? The red part of my aura. Why am I saying that in this comment? I'm stressing the red part of my aura. Well, because I learnt that from Taoism, that the emotions are not just in the brains. From Western science, I've learnt the emotions are little chemicals in my brains. Yeah, it's a very soulless view. Anyway, the more I reach out of scientific reductionism, the more I find spirited words. Now, the red is taken from how the Taoists think that our emotions are stored in our organs, and they're not just things created neurochemically in the brain. Of course, the neurochemical associations will be there, but they're associations of fourth dimensional tangential energy waves. And this is where science is not reaching into, obviously, because this is incorporeality, and, well, the fourth dimension is still very corporeal. It's not incorporeal yet. To me, across the great gate of heaven, the sixth dimension, geometrical dimension, which is the gateway, across the gateway, into the seventh dimension is the higher light. Anyway, so the red would be to do with the heart. I think 3 other organs are red coloured. Then there's like the kidneys are blue, the liver's green, I think. So there's these different colours associated with organs as well. So I could see how the red part of my aura was stretching and straining, and I was making, sometimes during my day, I'll strain my heart a bit too much and I'll make auric crack that way, and I'll have to go ground out and go to the beach and stuff. So anyway, just wanted to quickly put that in. So here's more information. We may as well talk about it, Although we are born with a total of 7 auric layers already intact, we are conditioned to primarily utilize the first 2 auric layers. This is all from this guy's book, with the greatest majority of emphasis on the physical body. The other ethereal bodies progressively get activated later in time, particularly the causal and spiritual bodies indigenous to the higher portions of the fourth. And all this occurs during dream states and during night when we are asleep. When we depart our physical bodies and begin surfacing higher dimensions of consciousness, with visiting the fourth dimension becoming the usual stopover as the state of mind is achieved easier. In contrast, reaching the causal and spiritual states are accomplished less easily, as this requires switching to the theta state, which is a requisite to enter the crystalline dimensions of higher consciousness, fifth dimension and above. When one operates within the alpha state of mind higher than the beta state, indigenous to 3D, one begins to expand one's auric layer to that representing the etheric body. To be able to envision different bodies through definition of multi-layered auric field. I'll start that again. To be able to envision different bodies through definition of a multi-layered auric field, one needs to discern the existence of a boundary layer through which energies are transferred to and fro by a membrane-like medium in an electrical manner through a planar or laminar circulatory mechanism. And then I've got a little link explaining planar and laminar, so you can all look into that. So yeah, there's a boundary layer where energies are transferred via planar or laminar circulatory mechanism. A finite element analysis of laminar flows through planar and axis-symmetric abrupt expansions. Laminar flow of Newtonian fluid in planar and axis-symmetric abrupt expansions is studied by solving the Navier-Stokes equation using the finite element method. The results consolidate information provided in the literature and provide a broader picture of how the expansion ratio and Reynolds number influence the reattachment length, downstream location of the eddy, and the relative eddy intensity in both coordinate systems. So I'll skip that. The fourth dimension is a transitional realm that is, in essence, an extension of our third 3D physicality that is stealth, yet totally interrelated. We better be recording. Thank God, I thought we weren't recording, sorry.
Oh, God. Always seems to happen with us.
Oh,
Sound.
in contrast, the fifth dimension is totally distinct from the realm of 3D physicality and dimensional consciousness. Yeah, basically, yeah. Because the fifth dimension is like a broader dimension. Remember, I've correlated the fifth dimension to unpolarized state? I call it fifth dimensional perspect. Eckhart Tolle calls it clearing your mind or whatever. He's going around the world basically talking about fifth dimensional perspect. Eckhart Tolle is. And like they're saying here, the fifth dimension is totally distinct from the 3D physicality and dimensional consciousness. Fifth dimension is holding telepathic alignment, so it's not a dimensional particularity or fractionality. It's the entire deal. The fifth dimension contains the entire idea, and the fifth dimension contains all knowledge of the whole of creation. The fifth dimension is the now middle point. The fifth dimension is, yes, a more crystalline light, and it is a crystalline light, much more so. You could think of that as a quark gluon plasma, maybe, but it's more deeper than that. It's the loop and warp of web, wherein string theory is rearing its head and talking about. Do you see what I'm saying? That's fifth dimensionality. And this is in a 12th dimensional model of physical creation, and it's down dimensional creation. And these dimensions work via ascending harmonics and descending tones, and they embed themselves, and there seems to also be this thing where each second dimension is a vibratory sort of adding dimension, and each first dimension seems to be an organizational dimension. For instance, the sixth dimension being geometry, right? And the seventh dimensional being like tunnel harmonics and the mathematics of the tunnel harmonics and the length of the particle, perhaps, or something. The code is coordinated by the eighth dimension for that what color is to be chosen, what seventh dimensional higher color light is to be chosen. I think of it as a higher mood of the universe. There is no separation, no fear for survivalism, no competition, anger, greed, etc. in fifth dimensional consciousness. So that's what I'm saying, all those anger, greed, survivalism, all it comes from third dimensionalities or zonal realities. There's a cut-off sense or an eddy sense in third dimensionality. It's like an eddy. The fifth dimension is like the river flow or the ocean. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Now the third dimension is reverberated fractally. In explanation, at least, for me to tell you, you're a larger cell of humanity, and your body also has cells which make up your larger body. And that's that fractal idea of that third dimensionality. And you're your own zonal reality. You have your magnus opus pool to pick from and to bring your great work in from. And everyone else has their soul pools and so on, So that's third dimensionality. You're your own reality. It's not just a cross-section. People have given me that explanation. If I'm to go around the world telling people, yeah, the third dimension is a cross-section, then what? And then people look at me and go, okay, can't use that. Well, how am I going to use that? What I'm giving you is stuff that you can use, if you've noticed. This is stuff that you can take across fields, domains of study and everything. So I just hope everyone realises what's being said sometimes. People don't listen. It's not that they don't listen to me, they can't hear me. There's sayings like, the student can only reach you where they're up to. They can only attend you and listen to you where they're up to. And that's fine, and I understand completely. I'm just saying to you that often it's the cognitive dissonance from your societal brainwash that gets in the way of you hearing me, especially when I'm visual. If you're looking at me, you'll get caught up on, oh, he looks like this, he looks like that, all that sort of thing. Anyway, there's also much deeper doublethink going on than what I've said about appearance, but we're not going to go into it. Anyway, just try to hear people. That's fifth dimensional perspex, not judging them before you're listening to a word they're saying. Do you see what I mean? People do that all the time. There's a state of humility you've got to be in to listen to someone and really take it in. For intelligence to evolve, there has to be humility. I'm telling you, and pride is a sin. Therefore, the fifth dimension necessitates a distinct body format than that of the 3D, which is a chaotic and amorphous, lacking definite form, having no specific shape, formless. The amorphous clouds, that's the definition of amorphous that I put there for everyone. So the idea is, again, I said it before, unpolarization. They're talking about the fifth dimension there. Anyway, let's keep going. So there you go, you can see some more writing. We're not going to read that. We're not going to read that. It's talking about the poisons effect, or poisons, however you say it. Symmetry through homogeneity and isotropy. As you can see, it gets right into it, suffice to say. So now I'm going to go to another post. You know, awareness of consumption isn't just what you eat, it's the thoughts you eat too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge, yeah. Massive. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is thoughts, yeah. Thoughts are key.
Oh, here we are. This one I like. Oh yeah, here we go.
Mm.
According to a recent study of over 100,000 participants, IQ is actually made up of 3 components. Hampshire et al. Et al. Just means like more than one author, and a lot of authors. Analysing the results, they found that IQ split up into short-term memory, reasoning, and verbal component. In other words, some people could have strong short-term memories but be poor reasoners, or some people could be good with language but have poor short-term memory. Your overall intelligence is a result of how these 3 subsystems work, and they might not all be at the same level.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you do a video on, because I'm just trying to find time to watch things, but did you do a video on Kundalini?
I did a video on the microcosmic orbit, but I haven't done any Kundalini
Okay.
one. Well, I've showed you guys the technique in the $30 Bandit food plant teaching video, antioxidation video. So if you go to the food plant $30 Bandit food plant teaching playlist on YouTube, there's a video on antioxidants and antioxidation where I'm talking about berries, antioxidants, and then antioxidation in general. And when I get to that bit, the generalization bit, I'm talking about Q10 and stuff, that thing for your heart. But I'm talking about the technique that I think it's Saharasa's technique, this Australian Indian lady, that Dr. Billy Doctor took into the Google Tech Talks. Either way, it's that Google Tech Talk meditation that's on the meditation page anyway. So yeah, you can reach it several ways. But yeah, that's the only Kundalini meditation instruction I've done so far. I just sort of copied that and put the basics on one of my videos so people could understand it or see it being done. Now that I'm reading this thing about, IQ, there was this article that I found, and I thought it was this one, that's why I got so excited. There was an article I found on IQ that actually said it was in favour of, what do we call us, the mischievers of society. It was it was saying stuff like they'll stay up late and all this stuff, and it was just like an unconformed view, adding to intelligence. I went, finally, and whatever it said in that article was really good. I wish I could find it. I've just got to think what page it might be on. Where would I put that one on?
It'll come to you when it's meant to.
Maybe the science page. Anyway, we can go back to that one. I'd like to. Anyway, here's actually a mushroom blend from Longevity Warehouse, David Wolf Foods. People don't know David Wolf, and why would I want to tell you about someone else when I'm on my own video here? Well, because he's charging. He's doing really well, and he's lived it. He's not just a doctor who's reading out of books, so to speak. He's lived it. Anyway, I can't get this 24 mushroom blend. See if you can, Melissa, maybe, if you go onto the Amalgamam Maximum Novelty Health page, the mushroom post, and it's got a picture of Gonoderma lucidium or reishi mushroom. And so this 24 mushroom blend here, I can't get it. I can't order it through Australia, so you might not be able to in New Zealand either. Probably because a few of these mushrooms are banned. They'll be banned.
I need to stop doing that. We need to stop banning things that are good for us, yeah?
Pardon?
They need to stop banning things that are good for us.
Oh, yeah, they need to stop banning things that are good for us, for sure.
It's ridiculous. It's just a joke.
So, this one has got in it Brazilian blase, Agaricus blase. I'm going to mispronounce all of these. Wood ear, Auricularia auricula, caterpillar mushroom. Actually, I'm not going to sound off the scientific names. Turkey tail. Could you please just let me speak, Melissa? Wood ear, caterpillar mushroom, turkey tail, enoki, iceman fungus, Fomus fomentarius, that one. Agarican or quinine conch, reishi, Gonoderma lucidium, or lucidum. Oregon polypore, Gonoderma organonense, artist conch, mataki, lion's mane, bunashameji, chaga, enotus obliquus, shiitake, willow bracket, mesimakobu, nameko, birch polypore, oyster mushroom, zuling, fuling, split gill, and suhirotaki. That one's called Schizophyllum commune. White wood ear is the last one. So those 24 mushrooms, holy, that's going to really be health there. So what do mushrooms do? Yeah, mushrooms are interesting. Well, let's have a look what he's got on his link firstly before I talk. Oh, what? Link not found. Right, I'll have to quickly search that one because I do want to have a look. Come on, yes, here it is. Okay, so it's like $89 or something. But this is the best. Now, why buy the best? And like, I do think this Longevity Warehouse is some of the best products in the world. Why buy the best is because I have, in the last year, done so. A few products, I bought the best. It was very expensive, and it put me in the end of my fortnight. Like, I had to fast for 3 days, you know what I'm saying? I'm barely eating anything at the end of the fortnight. And this is for my path. This is not erroneous. I'm not doing myself ill or anything. This is for my path, and this is how it works. This is how novelty happens. Coming to consciousness is painful, and your path is not. If you look every which way and you want everything, your path is going to be painful. But anyway, so when I do this, I'm trying the best, and then I'll notice I'll go back to the rest. And I've been doing that. Like last week, I ate pizza like twice or something, and at my friend's house. He had some pizza, and you know, I don't. Some people are going, "Geez, Ben, you sound pedantic," but no, I really feel the difference. So I'm coming off this pizza feeling inflamed, and I've got a post on All Around Health page that has a no smoking sign, but wheat in it. It's got a bit of bread, no eating bread sign, and it's got like this article saying 50 effects associated with wheat. So there's like 50 negative effects so far associated with it, and that's quite a lot already. And now I feel this inflammation, and inflammation is said to be at the root of all this disease. All the diseases that we have, inflammation is playing its role in it. It's part of it, every disease. Now, don't forget that all pain is positive charge as well in this body. So those things connect. Anyway, so firstly, mushrooms have a redox reduction potential, wherein they help free radicals. So it will actually help with your reanionization and getting the cat ions off you and positive charge, because remember, we're rusting through the oxidization theory of aging, the atmosphere, walking around rusting. So mushrooms, geez, there's something about mushrooms. Let's call this segment, because honestly, a lot of info keeps coming to me about them. We have Paul Stamats showing us we can build with mushrooms. We can build like you can with hempcrete. You can make houses out of hempcrete from hemp. It sets harder and harder. Similarly, we can make stuff out of mushrooms, believe it or not. Have a look at Paul Stamats. He's got a lot of work he's doing in depth with mushroom cultures and stuff. And then we have Terence McKenna, the famous psychedelian, talking about all the psychedelic mushrooms, and mainly psilocybe cubensis or psilocybe strophoria. And he has a video called "What's So Great About the Mushroom," and it's a 5-minute video where he sort of takes you on a cosmic thinking voyage. And there's a scene, or there's part of his conversing and dialogue where Terence says, and he's talking for the mushroom, he's talking as the mushroom in this video, he's a genius, and it says, this is the mushroom talking through McKenna, "I will trade you the secrets of hyperlight drives for a place around a less forsaken sun." you know? So these things, in other words, he's trying to get the idea across to you, or the mushroom was coming through him, getting the idea across to you that they're these big things. They seem to look larger, right? If they're thinking about when the sun's going to die, for Christ's sake, that's in like 8 billion years. So these mushrooms are somehow thinking in a larger way than we are. And it makes sense. Why? How? Ben, you're crazy. No, it makes sense because we're all just part of Earth, and the Earth, I have a video called Singularis, Genesis Singularis, where I said it's not you awakening, it's the Earth awakening. And me, I'm a way sheller of the golden light. I would be a crown chakra expression of Earth. The gold ring, that's why I have a saying, hear the rhythms of the time waves, feel the tone of the gold ring. Anyway, the mushrooms are part of Earth too. And so when you look at Earth as Earth and not your ego, and that you're like the conqueror of Earth or something, and disconnected from Earth and all this, when you don't look through that third-dimensional egoic sort of view, and you look just in a larger perspective, in a fifth-dimensional perspective, what the planet is, it's a being. And that's a fifth-dimensional perspective. That's the idea. It's its own being, right? So the mushrooms seem to me to just be part of that being. And so that's why it makes sense for me to say, they're just thinking larger than us. Because remember, the thoughts you have every day are not your thoughts, they're the thoughts, and I beg to differ that you're on a planet and it's coming electrically from that. And somehow the planet passes and recodes and fragments for use and definition and heightened definition the star's rays into our languages, right? So What we have here is a sort of culminatory thing. We know that, the mushrooms I mean, because we know that the plants, you know, like the movie Avatar has this in it. There's that scene where the scientist lady has to tell the guy who's wrecking the forest, each tree has 10 to the 40 connections, 10 to the power of 40, and each tree is connected to another 10 to the 40 trees or whatever, and she was trying to get the idea across that the whole Avatar planet, you know, the Avatar movie, that whole planet Pandora was, you know, a giant being, like Earth, basically. Yeah, right? That was the whole idea of it, anyway. And they had Iwa, you know, like the sort of minded entity or logic mind of Earth, or of Pandora, sorry, in the movie. But same deal, is what I'm saying. So these mushrooms seem to me to be even a larger thing than the tree connections, because remember, they're helping the trees with their organisation of nutrients and stuff. What did I just say? Organisation. So they're organising. It makes sense, hence, that they're such good immune system support. Do you see? They're supporting the trees. Of course they're going to be supporting our bodies too, and we've found that now, and you know, that's why it's a point here on this website, on David Wolf's website, immune system support. And so I just took you through like a way that maybe the Earth has thought of it more, or a higher way to look at it at least. That's why. That's what's so great about the mushrooms, in my opinion. They're not just little dense electron valence shelled things that we can make second dimensional objects out of, like Paul Stamets and stuff is doing. All these people are showing how we can make stuff, like you can make a little house or something out of it. You can make a lot of stuff out of mushrooms. Anyway, you can sculpt them and everything. Anyway, so another thing I like about this is it's got sugars. The properties of these essential sugars are also included in the 24 mushroom blend, and guess what it's got? Fucose, which I mentioned earlier from wakame seaweed. And it's got mannose too, and N-acylglucosamine, N-acylneuronic acid. Anyway, there's a few compounds that I've not heard of before those two. I think I've heard of that one, the glucosamine. Well, it's acid glucosamine. So the point is that in your normal standard American diet, we always refer back to. We're just trying to refer back like health people do. We're just trying to refer back to like the very basic diet we have around today, of the nuts, the roots, well, basically of the roots and the meat meals, with a little side of salad. And I mean, it's not healthy. Well, you people are kidding yourself. Everyone seems to think they need nothing but protein intake and carbs. But, you know, you're kidding yourself if you think that a sprig of parsley on top of a huge steak is a healthy way to eat. It should be the exact opposite way around. We're doing everything exactly backwards in our sick societies here at the end of the apocalypse, or at the start of the apocalypse, the end of history. We're doing everything backwards. I posted on this the other day. We brush our teeth with antibiotic toothpaste before we use essential oils or anything else before it. Or, you know, like Gonoderma Mangandungi Ganosi toothpaste that I use. We do everything the wrong, like, backward way, I've noticed. We go to work to feed ourselves and buy fruits and veg from the market, when we can sit at home, grow our fruit and veg, and not have to work as much. I mean, this list just goes on. Just doing things backward thing. Now, I've said that 2012 is like that. It's a turning point, and people go, oh, turning what? Well, it's like you're turning around a corner, yeah, and we're not going to talk about that, or looking over the naked singularity, which was like crossing a naked singularity 2012. We're not talking about either of those, looking around the corner of the future or anything. The bend in the space-time or whatever's going on. We're not talking about that right now. But, Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Because I started getting into the bender space-time in my eye. Yeah, so I've got to concentrate. I don't know. What was I saying again?
Yeah, so you were talking about, it was really good too, sorry. Just distracted by my cat.
Let's hope you were listening.
I'll just put Simba away. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, yeah, it was really good too. Just let me go back to that. In my mind,
I forgot what I was saying anyway.
oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, let's continue, because people are listening.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about seeing around the corner of the future, but that's not what I wanted to mention. Anyway, let's just have a look at this stuff. So, you know, why is it important to have all these? Because we don't have these all the time. Oh, that's right, yeah, it's like a turning point. 2012 is like a turning point. That's where I was up to. In which way? Well, not as I was mentioning and got lost on, but in the way of negative to positive as well. But in the way of looking in your rear view mirror, it's like we're all, remember how I was just talking about doing things backward? How in society we're doing so much things just backward? Like, do you go to the doctor every day to get an antibiotic shot? No, it's the last resort, isn't it? Yes. Well, then why are you brushing your teeth with antibiotics as the last resort first? You see what I'm saying? Okay. So 2012 is a point where we're looking from in the rearview mirror, and it's like we're being turned forward. So that's just what I was trying to say before. Anyway, let's get off the longevity warehouse in case they sue me. I'm just showing you good product, guys. Jeez. Yeah, so there is this thing about, I forgot the exact name of, well, let me go have a look at it. We're going to find this picture. There it is. Mind in action. Researchers have shown that hurt feelings from words can affect, I'll put the can in there because it just says words affect, but I'm going to say words can affect, because there's a saying, no man may come through me but through me, out there, which I like to remember. So let me read it again. Researchers have shown that hurt feelings from words can affect the same area in the brain, the cingulate gyrus, as a broken bone or physical injury. So, yeah, once again, keep in mind that no man may come through you, bar through you, and that's why there's that schoolyard chime. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Remember that one?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you need to take this into account, if you don't already, Melissa, because I do. I live my life like that way. I try not to
So
get,
do I.
you know, if someone's swearing at me and stuff, I can look straight past it. Why can't some people? Now, I actually lay traps. I sometimes just swear and go, not when I'm going crazy at people for subconsciously doing something towards me or something, but sometimes I'm just swearing in a way to annoy and make sure I catch the people that aren't worth my time being around me. I've done it a lot on Facebook, more than I do like out of Facebook, because on there it's just, you know, you've got hundreds of friends, so I have to be a bit more thorough about it. But yeah, so I call this setting an animal trap. Like here it says, haha, fucking brainwashed twits. Now some people will stop reading the rest of that post. I've just trapped you. I've trapped you in a third dimensionality, and you've shown me that you're a waste of my time because you're not going to hear half of what I can say. And that's the whole point. I don't want to get caught up in eddies of helping people who can't hear half of what I say, and they're really just stealing your energy and stealing your focus and so on. They get you off your path. It's a trick of the dark, trust me. It's out there. If you don't see it, I see it. So sometimes I lay these animal traps for that reason. Shows me people who aren't even worth my time because I can look straight past it. Now, so someone might still be sitting there a bit bamboozled. What's the point of it, Ben? You're just not making friends instead of where you could be making friends. Well, that's a possibility too, and that's an idea, but there's time management at the center of this. And so if you're still sitting there a bit and thinking about it, well, I want to just say this to you. When you caught up on that first sentence there and you're like, oh, this guy's not going to have anything worthy to say because I've sworn, I've done a profanity. Firstly, profanities can be used in many ways for like emphasis mainly. And I use it most of the time for emphasis, not just to, I don't know, larrikin and lackadaisical. Anyway, so when you get caught up on that, and you're like, oh, this guy isn't worth reading from, I'm not going to read the rest of Consciousazine. What if you just missed the golden alchemical piece for your life from me? And that is what I am. I'm sort of like a Time Lord here at the end of history, and people will come to me for a little alchemical piece of gold. It might just be one piece you need off me, but some people I have many for. And we interact strongly. But if our interaction for this life is just a mere, you pass me by and touch me once, and I give you one piece of alchemical gold, well, what if you just miss that? That's what I'm saying. You don't offend yourself first, then think. You think fifth dimensionally, in a fifth dimensional perspective, you just think, try and see the information rather than get offended by it or judge it or anything. First see it. That's why I call fifth dimensional perspective being the sight. Just being the sight. You see how it's exactly the same thing as Eckhart Tolle's going around talking about? So cognitive dissonance. I've always mentioned it. We may as well use this picture while it's in front of us and get the definition out. This is why people get upset when you challenge what they hold most closely, and they start acting very weirdly subconsciously towards you as well. People can do all these sorts of weird things from this. Mental conflict that occurs when beliefs or assumptions are contradicted by new information. The concept was introduced by the psychologist Leon Festlinger in the late 1950s. He and later researchers show that when confronted with challenging new information, most people seek to preserve their current understanding of the world by rejecting, explaining away, or avoiding the new information, or by convincing themselves that no conflict really exists. This is what we have in the world today. We've got apocalypse in front of your eyes and you're still not admitting it. You're still all walking to work and you're still all doing the same zombie march and all this. Nothing's changed for some of these people. Cognitive dissonance is nonetheless considered an explanation for attitude change. I think it says that. So anyway, yeah, I run into this a lot. I call it running into people's brain barriers before I even knew that there was a moniker of cognitive dissonance out there. I used to just call it running into people's brain barriers. That's why I set animal traps. I don't want to waste a second of my day. Time's way more precious than money. So I'm going to redirect the conversation back to your life, Melissa. All you've told me so far is your son eats seaweed chips. Come on now, Melissa. How am I meant to consult on that, hey?
Oh.
I need more.
Okay,
Tell me more.
Yeah, no, I do want to, because going back to the mushrooms, my eldest son, he turns 16 on the 17th, which is a really big day. 888 for your number people out there.
No one can
The
hear you.
triple eight.
No one can hear you, Melissa.
I know, so that's okay. Anyway, he's really wanting to eat. Yeah, I can. He's wanting to eat lots of mushrooms at the moment.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and me too. We just want to take them from the bag and eat them raw.
Really? So you've suddenly got a craving for mushrooms, Melissa's telling me in my ear.
We both do, yeah. And we can't get enough of them. We want to try all varieties.
Well,
Out there, and you can't get many in New Zealand. I don't think. I'm not quite sure. I need to study it.
I definitely recommend you get that 24.
Listening to you before was
that 24 mushroom blend now. Try and see if you can get it. Yeah, see if you can order it. But it does say Australia doesn't accept it in, so be careful. You might want to email them or something, or check it out.
That probably means New Zealand won't either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might not as well. But anyway, so continue. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you've had a craving
Yeah, so
for mushroom.
my kids are natural. Oh yeah, big time.
It's interesting.
And yeah, and also oh, Jacob wants to say hello. Is that okay?
Yeah. Hey, Jacob, how you going?
Hi.
Here's a plaster. Thanks, darling. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention. Oh gosh, it's gone because he's confused me. Just a minute. Gone. Damn. Oh, my kids are born natural vegetarians. Like they just have never like wanted to eat meat.
They've never wanted to eat. What blood type are they if they've never wanted to eat meat and they're born natural vegetarians?
Yeah, my son only just went to meat when he hit his, and I always said it would happen, and the family never believed me, that he would hit meat when he turns into when he becomes a teenager.
Well, there's not.
And it's
Yeah, so people have this thing that they're so against meat, and yeah, there is definite merit in it. It's dead flesh and all this, and I don't even feel good like for a week or two after I eat it. I feel it in my body, the lower vibration and all that. Anyway, when you're saying you've suddenly got this, let's just stick on one point at a time. When you said you suddenly got this craving for mushrooms, that's very interesting. Firstly, I hope you can get that 24 mushroom blend because that's going to appease your craving for sure. Some of those mushrooms, the best in the world ones are there. Chaga, reishi was there, lion's mane, shiitake and maitake. All of those top mushrooms in the world were in there. So that's got to appease your craving if you can get it. Otherwise, just look in the health shop for something similar. Someone else might know about David Wolf like I do and have created their own mushroom blend in Australia. Who knows? Because that's what's happening now. I'm seeing these health shops really picking up what they're doing. Like I said, in the super kraut or sauerkraut little thing I posted on Facebook yesterday, it had ormus in it. And it had wakame, Tasmanian seaweed. So, I mean, I thought, what a product. It's got ormus in it. Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
Do you know about ormus at all?
No, you can tell me.
Okay. I will tell.
Okay, cool. I like it.
Oh, pardon me, I'm just stretching. It's early.
That's a good cat stretch. That's a good cat stretch.
It's early.
I know. It's earlier for you than it is for me.
Okay, ormus.
I like your top.
Pardon me?
I like your top. Sorry to diverse, but I like your quicksilver
Oh, you're
top.
watching me, that's right.
Yeah, I can see you.
Yeah. When did I first find out about ormus? There's a website, a dating website, where I was on. I won't mention the name of it, but there's a dating website, and I met a girl, and she was not really like a hippie or anything. She was your typical sort of person, I guess you might say, but I know how that sounded. Forgive me, but just for lack of wording right now. And what I meant to say was she was not like a great. She wasn't like an Einstein. She wasn't like a druid. She wasn't like a pagan on some pagan prerogative of tinctures, tonics, and elixirs or anything like this. She was just your average sort of girl, so to speak. Went to work, etc. So she introduced me to this stuff, and she said, "Oh, this is ormus." I'm like, "What?" I think I'd heard of it before. I can't remember now though. I think I'd researched it before I actually met her. So that was the first time I tried it, but I think I already knew about it. Either way, I was like, oh, what? You've actually got some? And I was a bit confused about the whole thing, I remember. Thinking, well, what's in it? And she was trying to tell me what's in it. She's saying gold, and I'm like, what? Oh, this is that stuff. And I think I started remembering, and I'm like, please give me a shot. Because it was so expensive, she didn't really like offer me one. I just saw her taking it when she was getting ready one morning. And so I took a cap. Half an hour my brain like buzzed in the limbic middle part. Probably all the way from what we talked about before. Let's go at the top of the page and we can probably get you the exact brain centers. Parietal lobes, no. So this part, the pineal pituitary through the lens of septum pellucidum, that into the quantum minefield, that would have been the part that was from this almost drink being invigorated, that whole limbic system, the middle brain. And let's go back down to the post we were on. Sorry, that's going down. Yeah, so those parts of the brain were like tingling. Basically, the crystal room, or the Eye of Horus diagram from the Egyptian-minded way of seeing it, was tingling in me. So that whole Eye of Horus was tingling. And I thought, what is going on here? For like half an hour it tingled, and then I was talking to her more about it. Turns out there was colloidal silver in there. Colloids are just like pieces floating in a medium, so it just means bits of silver. So it's colloidal silver, and that alone, I had a friend years ago, she had that like whenever she, I think she had it whenever she got sick, she had more of it, but she would take it just usually like a couple of times a week, and it would stop her getting a lot more sick, she said. And it's true, because on Natural Remedies Guru page, I've got a post on colloidal silver, and it's 600 anti-pathogenic effects. 600. So that's huge. Right, so it's this drink, this ormus that this girl gave me had colloidal silver, white monoatomic gold, which is like the ormus part of it, and Celtic sea salt. And it was the best one I ever had. Months later, I bought one off the internet from Sunshine Coast, where I grew up the coast here, and it was no good. It was like a 5-minute tingle, and it was very ephemeral. So that's why we try the best products as well, so we know the difference, so we don't waste our money as well, and waste our time, more importantly. Because, you know, I've mentioned eating for ebb and flow, for evolution, wherein the next thing you eat should be the most apt thing for your evolution. If you feel like you need to eat protein, go have your hemp seeds or whatever. They're 40% protein or something. Or, you know, and mix it with your coconut oil and make your beverage and so on. Eating for the next part of the evolution, or do I feel like blueberries? Or like, do I need something for my brain right now? Does my brain feel a bit something foggy or something? So well, that's what I'm talking about, eating for ebb and flow. I've mentioned this before, so it makes sense to choose the best products for that ebb and flow and not waste half of your ebb and flow, right? Anyway, we don't even have to say limit processed foods and replace non-vegetable carbs with healthy fats and all that, because I'm sure people know the basics these days. Well, a lot of people don't, but they're not the people that I really want to see. I'm more of a teacher of the teachers, not to sound too arrogant. So here's a nice article. What people think of love, what love actually is, a molecule. I think that must be oxytocin they're showing there. So you can see love is a very complex molecule too, by the way. Very complex molecule. So people worldwide may feel mind-body connections in the same way. There's an article here from Medical Express, which is the offshoot of my favourite science website on the web, physal.com. Anyway. So here we go. The researchers coaxed Finnish, Swedish and Taiwanese participants into feeling various emotions and then asked them to link their feelings to body parts. They connect anger to the head, chest, arms and hands. Also, Osho used to talk about when you eat meat, you get like this tiger sense. And it's so true. After I read that, I get like this sense in my hands. Let's show everyone I'm doing it to myself. I get like this sense in my hand, like ripping and tearing more when I eat more meat. It actually, I feel that more. So that's funny that they've said here they connect the anger to the head, chest, arms, and hands. Those areas do get sore in me more when I eat more meat, including the chest. Yeah. disgust to the head, hands and lower chest, pride to the upper body, and love to the whole body except the legs. As for anxiety, participants heavily linked it to the mid-chest. And there's a diagram there. Melissa, I could share my screen. Let's do this so you can see it.
Oh.
Tell me if you can see my screen now.
Oh,
Can you?
That's better,
Nice,
yeah.
you can see my screen. Sorry, I could have had that up for you the whole time too.
That's okay, I enjoy watching you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're all good. I can watch the video when you put it on YouTube.
Things slip my
Cool.
mind sometimes.
Oh.
So yeah, that's what I was just reading from there. The anger, fear, disgust, happiness, sadness, surprise, neutral. So you can see that they've got parts that are heated up. That's also interesting, isn't it? Let's have a look for a second.
You've gone quiet though. By putting that picture up, you've gone
I've gone
quiet
quiet.
on me. I can hear you, but you're like whisper quiet now, but I can still hear you.
Oh, I wonder if everyone else can hear me. I better take it off, Mel, just in case.
Yeah, go on. Yep.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
know. Am I back on camera? Sometimes it doesn't. Yep. Oh, okay. Sometimes it doesn't.
Oh.
Can you see me?
I can see you, and I can hear you. It's quieter.
So it's interesting that these had, while you were looking, you were seeing this too, Melissa, that there was like blue parts and what looks like to be like heat, because the anger is in those areas that they said it was affecting the people. It's got the color of like yellow and red and heat, by a thermodynamic look of things. It looked like it anyway. And neutral is like black and dark blue. And so it looks like less inflamed, really, isn't it? And less positive charge. And then, is that, yeah, depression also. Whoa, this is very interesting.
Can I say something?
Yeah, you can, because I don't know what to say.
I'm going more raw food vegetarian myself, and I am just I'm not angry anymore.
Yeah, a lot of
really,
anger does recede when you eat like the raw diet. Yeah. It's because, and it's obvious that it's contained in these animals' hormones they're releasing when they're dying and all this stuff, but also in their energetic body if we're murdering them. That's what people don't talk about. What about the, the fourth dimensionality of them and all this, Anyway, so back to this picture. I thought this was very interesting because, see this right here, this, 1 second. Just wanted to make sure we were recording. So see this picture here, how the light blue colours, they seem to be like the less inflamed parts, right? That's what it looks like to me anyway. And why is this so interesting to me right now? And I'm like in this tone of voice because I've got a theory that a video called Etiology of Depression. Now I'm not talking about, well, actually I am. Depression has an affinity with novelty. Even on the time wave zero, Terence McKenna's software there, we can see, the trend of habit versus novelty of the universe. We can see that when the wave goes down, the density of connections increasing and the novelty is increasing. And when you're depressed, you're in a what? When you're happy, are you thinking? No, you're not. You're barely thinking. Like when I'm running around happy, I'm like, ah, that's not discernment. You can run into a bus that way. You know what I'm saying? So there's positive effects of thinking positively, endorphins and all this stuff, and it's really good for your body. And I do it at a certain point in my day. When I feel I need to release that certain chemical, I'll do that. This is lucid cognicality. I'm aware, I'm consciously awake of myself. You see what I'm saying? I release my endorphins and so on. I still react to people, and we're moving from the pre-2012 universe of reaction to the post-2012 universe of creation. So that's what I was just sort of bordering on. Of course I still react and so on. Anyway, so there's a connection between depression and novelty in your life, and in general is what I'm saying. That's me theory. That's Benjamin Cauenberg theory. That's what I'm telling you, the world. And if you don't want to see it, well, someone else is going to tell you later and realize it later. That's fine. But there's a definite connection between depression and novelty. Now, I need to talk about this because this picture is very interesting in showing it visually. Um, so notice when you're depressed, you're in a deep connotative state. You're really thinking about shit, right? You're really thinking about your life. When you're like, oh, why is my life like this? What? And you come out of a bit and you're like, well, what can I do to make it a bit better and stop whinging about myself and all this, And we all go through this. I've been through this enough. uh, and every day, no. But yeah, I pretty much do go through it every day, and you should be if you followed the trends of the eschaton. Now epiphanies are momentary. It's not, we had the cycles of consciousness. The mind pyramid of consciousness was extrapolated out by Dr. Kellerman, where we have the galactic cycle in 2011 and the universal cycle in 2012. What that meant was epiphanies and great discoveries in the world in general and in your life, it's also mirrored there, were coming monthly, then weekly, then daily. And now you can basically be in what Terence McKenna called maximum novelty domain, wherein obviously when depression has an affinity with novelty, you've got the ability to all day, every day now be in a very novel state. Now, I notice depression, it has affinity with it. Now, there's a negative connotation attached to depression, and I can feel people's cognitive dissonance right now, and I'm not even in your proximity, and I can feel it. Because people connotate, I know. I look into the world and I see and I know that people connotate negatively on the word depression. They think it's a bad thing. Anger, a bad thing. Fear, a bad thing. Well, I beg to differ. Fear was used to keep us alive throughout history many times when the lion was attacking. Anger has made me produce Consciousazine.com. If I wasn't angry at how shit the world is and the way it's going, I wouldn't have done anything. I would have sat apathetically happy and been an apathetic pathetic, like many people out there. Anxiety, all the contempt, all pride, they all have meaning and reason. It's not a happenstance universe where we've come from a big bang for no reason out of nowhere and we're looking backward, trying to figure out what's going on. You're meant to be looking forward, inward, onward, and upward, and seeing things for reason and meaning, if you've got any clue, that is. Anyway, so the pride, yeah, I said before pride's a sin, and I'm not going into that today. Terence McKenna talked about that too, so it's funny he knew it. I've got so much resonance with that guy, it's funny. Anyway, going back to this diagram, and the depression, and why I brought up this whole last bit of the conversation, look at the depression guy. He's light blue. Look at the colour. It's nowhere else on any of the other diagrams. They're all black. Yeah, look, sadness has got a little bit of light blue in his legs. That's why I stopped for a second and went, whoa, look at this diagram. It's affirming my theory. It's confirmation of my theorization, isn't it? I think so. And it's giving a positive connotation or balance into this world on depression. How so? Well, look how less inflamed he is in his depressed state. And I bet you he's going inward, onward, and upward, and he's having a good think about himself in this light coloured blue state here. You see how he's less inflamed? Everybody should be looking at the screen. I hope you're getting what I'm saying here. Look at the neutral. It's even better than the neutral state, or the sadness state there, the light colour. So I'm not telling everyone to go out there and get depressed right now. So what's the meaning of all this, Ben? Well, firstly, to balance the perception of depression. That was the main meaning of my spiel just now. But secondly, yeah, I'm not telling you to go get depressed, but I'm going to add some things. Psychedelics will help you get into a state like that. And don't forget the connection with novelty, or density of connection increasing. Notice when you're in that happy-go-lucky state, You're not sitting there with that old statue. What's that statue outside the cathedral somewhere with old mate, the philosopher, sitting very deep in thought. You know that statue? It's pretty, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing that when you're happy-go-lucky, are you? So you're not, the balance. We need to be happy sometimes, and we need to be in this sort of depressed state, we'll call it, other times. But you can't, because, you know, we have the ebb and flow of the universe. There is the spectrum, and there is polarity and duality. So I just hope that brought some balance to some people's views of depression. Now, I'm mainly targeting right then in that sentence, like medical doctors and stuff. I want, because you're meant to be healers, guys. You know, you've got to get the view balanced out and straightened up, in my opinion. It's the same thing with schizophrenia. They used to idiotically think it was linked to one gene, like you've got a bad gene, or he's the bad kid. Look at the bad kid with the bad gene. Well, that's not what's happened. That's not the truth. Because now, a few years later, wouldn't you know it, just a few, only a few years later they've found out that schizophrenia is linked to 42 genetic, I'll call them not markers, but openings. Why? Because if there's 42 genes being affected, it's a freaking bandwidth opening, people. Take a good look. What does it analogize to in this world? Everything can be analogized to something else because that's the theory of resonance. Terence McKenna brought that forth, and that was my words. He hasn't said anything like that. But that's obvious to me. When there is a theory of resonance, everything can be analogized to everything else. Everything connects and all this, you know. Anyway. Manage your stress. Let's talk about that for a minute. So, obviously don't want to be depressed all day, every day, do we? Pardon me. Okay. There's something I mentioned the other day about clearing the efferent nervous system to Justine on the other health video I just made, and I was saying that I use music, like hot water. There was something else I mentioned. Also, EFT is good for the efferent nervous system. Emotional freedom technique. It's like an acupunctural-like technique. It sort of works on body electrics and emotionality and pressure pointing and all this, and body electrics. So you basically tap certain points and you say certain mantras. So yeah, it's a reasonable technique. Is there anything you want to talk about? I want to redirect it to your kids because can you tell me something about what they're eating and stuff? You haven't said anything, Melissa.
We've been eating a lot of bananas lately. Really important.
Okay.
Bananas, and the best thing for breakfast. Well, not the bananas. For your kids. Jacob's been eating a lot of bananas. Yeah. And oranges. Drawn to oranges very much at the moment.
Cool.
Yeah, just anything natural that Mother Earth provided.
What are you cooking them for, like a dinner?
Dinner? Oh, God. I'll so go on off cooking because I just don't want to eat at the moment to stay in my light body, crystalline energy. I don't want to eat at all.
Really? You're not eating too much at the moment? Okay.
No, not at all. No, just shed massive...
So what are you cooking them? What are they eating, the kids?
Oh, just whatever they feel like. I've always gone with what their body tells them they feel like. So they tell me they want poached eggs. Like, for example, Violet and Jacob both wanted eggs yesterday, but Violet wanted them scrambled and Jacob wanted them poached.
You know, I'm just trying to, because remember this is a health consultation, I'm trying to, upgrade your health too. Like, not just talk to everyone upgrading the world's health and all that, but... and the mass mind, but you specifically, because you've helped me out. So to do that, you need to tell me stuff as well.
Yeah, no, so anyway, one of my favourite things for breakfast, by the way, is two of the most powerful. So you take have a piece of really good whole grain bread. If you want to have bread and you need that fix of bread, like we have Vogels in New Zealand. I don't know if you have it in
I
Australia.
think so.
It's got massive, like you can get really good ancient grains in the bread and stuff like that, like grainy bread. Now, a good piece of whole grain bread with avocado and banana, because an avocado a day, they say, I can't remember the saying, you should have an avocado a day.
Yeah, an avocado a
I know,
day I really recommend, because it's got glutathione in it. That's a thyroid
yes,
detoxing hormone. And remember, hormones are
yes,
master switches, so you can eat all the vitamins and minerals you want all day, but don't forget hormones are sort of over them, or larger in scope, and they switch on stuff to make stuff work, to make minerals integrate into your body, and so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying? They're like a
yeah,
larger in scope almost sort of thing, hormones. So they're very important.
yes,
So yeah, I definitely recommend an avocado a day or so.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
But
um,
well, here's a good little post for you, Melissa. Like, I guess I'm not gonna like give you like a health nutrition plan because you're already eating well enough by the sounds of it. I don't really need to get too nitpicky with you. You know, you're gonna do your own thing, and I'm giving you loads of information. I'm sure you'll slowly seek things out for yourself. Anyway, here's a good thing. This is what type of pot you want to cook with, and it's grade 316 or 316 steel. It's the standard. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So grade 316 is the standard molybdenum bearing austenitic grade. Second stainless steel in importance to 304. The molybdenum gives 316 better overall corrosion resistance properties. So that's why I've said it, like it's more resistant to corrosion in chloride environments like the water that we cook in our pots. Because we're drinking our own piss poo and adding chemicals to it.
no,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's a good one by Rumi, a good little quote. Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure. And that's by Rumi. Now, before I said I was talking about depression. So yeah, you'll get there. It's a natural occurrence. You can't avoid it. And if you're avoiding it, I dare say you're a spiritless human. Don't get lost in your pain. So, when you do encounter the novel, complex, and the cone shape of the depression and get sucked into the vortex, don't get lost in that vortex and stay there. You can come back out. And this is the second part of the quote. Know that one day your pain will become your cure is very important, I think. So concentrate when you're depressed. It's not just erroneous. And like, how is anger erroneous? It's not erroneous. It's showing you something. Something is abrasing you to make you angry. And anger is like a poison when you're holding it and trying to direct it towards someone. That's a bit silly. And I don't hold it for very long. I've started holding it for less and less lengths of time. That's something you can do, but I don't know about completely just always avoiding it. It might. I mean, yeah, there is that. That's the whole Zen idea and all that. And I don't want to really talk about that too much right this second, but because I'm trying to lean on the opposite of happy today. I'm trying to say, hey, don't forget the opposite. And there is use and reason and meaning to this depression and stuff like that. As in, it's not just negative. Anyway, let's move on to the chakras.
One of my favourite subjects.
Because if you think about it, when you're depressed and you're being sucked inward, onward, and upward, or you're being sucked inward within yourself, it's a good thing. That's the universe coming through you. And as Rumi also said, the wound is where the light enters. So if we're talking about ascending or getting smarter or anything, novelty and depression is gonna make its face appearance. You can't avoid it. Chakras are located at points where nadis intersect. Now, I have said the nadis are not like a nervous system. However, I understand what all these people are saying when they mean that, when they say that the nadis are like a nervous system into the hyperspace, I would call it. However, I see the nadis much more like a fifth-dimensional lymphatic system for reinitialization of vibration, and thus it's like acting like the lymph system, bringing in this unpolarized fifth-dimensional crystalline light to clear out all the third dimensionality stuck on your nervous system, for instance. Do you understand what I'm saying? All these loops on your nervous system are third dimensionalities. Remember I said what a third dimensionality is before? It's not just a cross-section, it's its own zonal reality. A particle is its own third dimensionality. It's a third dimensionality. You are a third dimensionality too. Your whole star streams back into your soul and all that. That's your eddy off the main current, so to speak. So this is a good little article, and it has a very eclectic setup, which I love. I'm in love with when people make eclectic stuff like this, because it's like all there sort of thing. First chakra, location, root base of the spine, so we all know that. Sanskrit, and people know that, color red, know that, earth, da-da-da. But then they've gone better. You know, many chakra charts have stuff like this too. Unity, identity, ego, birth, death, what it's to do with. The first chakra to me is also to do with social, and that's why you can feel yourself connected to everything on earth, and all life, via your root chakra. That's what I mean by social, not just the social cultural context. So, governs perception, all this stuff. Malfunction, weight problems, eating disorders, constipation, sciatica, arthritis, and knee problems. Healing techniques, and that's why I'm happy with this little excerpt here, because they've got this whole last section here. Music, tribal drums, affirmations, I am here on earth, I am solid, I am alive, and just imagine yourself connected to everything on earth. Then they've got yoga poses, mountain, squat, standing forward, bend, garlands, child's pose. Then it says, you know, connecting with Mother Earth, Pachamama, soles of the feet, Mula Bandha. Then it's got the pranayama for this root chakra is the Ujjayi breath. And then if we go down the second chakra, we can see the same thing. They've got pranayama, alternative nostril breathing, and I've done some research for you guys there. And we can move down to the solar plexus. We can move to the solar plexus here. And what have I done here? It says practice karma yoga. And the pranayama for this one is the breath of fire. I've got a link there. The practice for this chakra is karma yoga. I've also got those links there. You can read through that. Practice for the fourth chakra. What does it say here? Pranayama is the full yogic breath for the heart. I need a drink. Sorry, everyone. Okay, pranayama is the full yogic breath. So I've got a video there. The practice is bhakti yoga, yin yoga, and restorative yoga. So yin as opposed to yang sort of yogas, and you can look into that. Vedanta philosophy, Hindu yoga, bhakti is good for this one because that's a yin yoga. The fifth chakra, pranayama for this one is the bumblebee breath. You want to quickly check that one out? Let's have a look. I've forgotten what that one is.
Let's
put you on share screen again.
An alliance.
So so you can
The
see
Whitey
what we're
Bulger's
looking at.
ex-convict.
Can you see?
He's an invaluable asset.
It's loading.
Today I've got a bite-sized episode of Surviving
you have to do
Yoga. That was silly. Today I've got the perfect breath that you can use to calm anxiety and reduce stress. It's called the Brahmari breath, also known as bumblebee, and this is why.
Can you see this,
You're going to
Melissa?
inhale,
Yes, I can see
and
it,
then
yeah.
exhale.
I'm
And
I'm
repeat
not
as
sure
much as you
anyone
want.
can
And
hear
you can
that
even do
because
it to
it's
freak
on
out
my
your friends.
microphone.
If you love
It
bumblebee
might be doing the
breathing,
system
make
audio,
sure to
but I'm going to take my microphone out for a
subscribe.
second so you can all hear the bumblebee breathing noise.
Known as bumblebee, and this is why. You're going to inhale, and then exhale. And repeat as much as you want. And you can even do
love that. Oh my gosh.
So
Thank
this is where I'm reading off the Amalgamated Maximum Novelty Health Guide. Yeah, so got the practice is the chanting mantra yoga. So that's the practice for the fifth chakra. And meditation is Tonglen. I don't know what that is. Go have a look. The sixth chakra, the third eye. So René Descartes is the modern, well, one of the modern founders, you might say, of science via calculus, and calculus is definitely a cornerstone of modern science. Descartes, he called the third eye the seat of the soul, and he was referring to pineal and the singularity of, and going up into your soul template that way. Now, the third eye is a chakra, not a gland. People say to me, the pineal's the third eye. I go, what? I go, how's the pineal the third eye when it's a gland? No, they work in association, and we're a body. We're a body, and a body always has systems and connectivities like this. So we're from the higher dimensions down into the lower dimensionality of ourselves. And the practice is yantra yoga. The meditation is vipassana, insight meditation. Seventh chakra, the crown. Music, the sound of silence. That is the sound for the crown chakra. Actually, I will now teach you the sounds, or at least in one model, for all the chakras. So we're going yam, sam, lam, ham, om, and then silence for the crown. Anyway, back to what we're reading. The pranayama for the seventh chakra is the ocean breath. Practice is Raja and Jnana yoga. Meditations, zazen, pure awareness and mindfulness. So, that brings us to the bottom of that page. Holding in negative emotions such as grief and anger is exhausting. Now, naming them and releasing them regularly through writing, movement, tears, singing, or making sounds frees us up to live full, vibrant lives and reinitialize the fifth dimensional light through us and all that. Now, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said, dude. No, so that's what I'm saying, you know. That it's for reason and meaning, and not to keep it in. I'm not saying to keep it in. I'm saying that anger's not erroneous. While it's not a good idea to hold it, it's not erroneous, right? And I read an article on phys.com years ago. So scientific view of this, I was going to say scientists are aware of. The scientific view of this is, geez, I'm a smart ass. The scientific view of this is that, you know, the article was reading that it's a good idea to let it out, you know, to keep things in, like this little quote saying, isn't a good idea. And, you know, anger, like holding anger is like a poison. Like you're holding a poison expecting someone else to die from it. So, anyway, and here's my little equation. Love, light, Love equals light, which equals information, which equals knowledge, and wise is in the middle. That's meant to be over the other side, that part there. Anyway, so that's that page, just a little overview of that one. Gives me something to talk to you about in that. Okay, so that was for Melissa, a little talk for her. She's just gone to the toilet quickly, and I just wanted to quickly end with what I was telling her. I felt like the talk all ended there on that last picture down the bottom. We sort of came full circle on the depression idea and all that. I was just telling Melissa how today I was going over the talk like, oh yeah, we covered this, and I thought, oh yeah, I got the idea of eclecticity across again to you all. I'm always trying to get the idea of eclecticity across to you because it's the Andromedan enlightenment. I was telling her the Andromedan galaxy is moving a certain way in conjunction to our own galaxy, the Milky Way, which is like the masculine male brother of the Andromedan feminine galaxy. Now, the Arcturian alignment is happening via the Andromedan enlightenment. That's the current enlightenment on Earth. And Melissa, I'm just telling people what I just told you. 1 second. And so I was just explaining to her that the eclecticity, and why I'm always trying to get the eclecticity across. Why I'm always trying to get the eclecticity across is because it's got to do with the Andromedan enlightenment. Part of that violet, purple light. For some reason, there's eclecticity in the vibe of the light coming from Andromeda. Don't know. But, for instance, I'll explain more. The Syrian light, I can see reverberated in our world, the strength in us. Syrian light's this hard beam. I can't penetrate the Syrian. It's like it's unpenetratable. The Syrian light is like this platinum beam or something. Like I don't even think it's platinum. I don't want to say that because I think the platinum beam comes from the Pleiades, and it's a platinum perfection beam. And also love comes from the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters. And remember, I think it was the Cambrian explosion, but there was explosions associated with ammonite creatures, early life on Earth, the ammonite explosion of population. And so love is associated with Pleiades and home, very hominess, and you can see that because if the early life on Earth was started by the Pleiades light, of course we're going to have an affinity with it, right? Because you are the ants, zinc is in your body. You're made up of all the animals. You're the apex. You're the concrescence. So I was just explaining to Melissa the feel of all these lights, of all the starshine. The Arcturian light. I never heard someone say this. It seems algorithmic to me. And hence the IT, right? Look at the correlation. This like blew my head away the other day. Because I study IT as well. So obviously this is all very much for my path. Another bit of info for my path to teach everyone. Now the Arcturian light has this controllingness about it, but it's penetratable, it's light blue, and I can penetrate. The Syrian light's like this beam, you can't get, it's like ping, ping, you just come off that thing. And the Syrian light's the strength, it's Syrian Riddick, or Riddick, remember that movie with Vin Diesel? Riddick, that's Syrian energy. He carries a lot of Syrian energy in that movie, with the eyes and everything. The Syrian indigo star seeds, you'll see that in my eyes when I let it come out. But I won't let it come out all the time. Because sometimes I have to hide on this earth, because there's dark people everywhere. Anyway, so the Arcturian light has this controlling aspect about it. Not only does it have an algorithmic aspect, but the Arcturian starshine seems to have this controlling feature. It said the Arcturians are very high. Remember, dimensionalities are not just manifestations of densities of layers of light. Dimensionalities are worlds within worlds. There's beingness and beings in these dimensions. So when I explain, the fifth dimension as a physical correlation, that's all I'm explaining in that explanation. But then there's beingness to dimensionalities. We don't talk about them because I'll seem too esoteric to normal people. And I'll do that one day on stage. I'll bust it all out, all the esoterica. Anyway, so the Octurians are said to be very high, and it's light, blue light. Syrian light is a very white light. God, it's a beam. Anyway, and the yellow light of the Pleiades, and this loving, more like that energy. And then this algorithmic, Octurian light. That's how it feels. And it's controlling too. There's a control aspect about it. Not in control, again, we can have a negative connotation on everything in the world, you know. And that's why I mention this, because I can feel what people are going to think. It's telepathy. The controlling aspect of the Octurian light is obvious, because we're going into a new world order. The elites are trying to control the whole populace of Earth. That's how that resonance is playing its way through, you see? So I want people to look deeper at things. That's my whole rigmarole of the Benjamin Cowan Burgo. Right? I just want people to look deeper into it, not see it at its face value, because why are we hating on everybody when we can seek real value? Yeah, we use people, and things are to be used. What's that saying again? We use people and we love things. Well, we should be loving people and using things. And, that's another one of those backwards things. So namaste in Lakeshte is what I say. Let me just quickly explain what I reckon about namaste and in Lakesh, the nomenclatures or monikers, because I seem to hear the Gnostic ring of words. So it's like there's words that have been created by these spiritless humans in just copying and mimicking. But there are soulful words in our language, like connotation. So etymologies can be fucked up by these people. But there's these words that sometimes I find words and I can feel them and feel a Gnostic ring to the word, and what it for some reason, all of a sudden a channel or a download will hit me on what that word really is trying to say and mean. Because remember, words are just dancing around the meaning. The words themselves are not the meaning. Yeah, so I hear the Gnostic ring of words, and it's very interesting. What was I saying? What was I going to talk about though? I just forgot. The Gnostic ring of words. I was going to say which words. What was I talking about, Melissa?
You hear, you're saying that you hear,
Yeah, but which words? I forgot which words we were talking about.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, we're back. I remembered. Thanks, Melissa. Namaste and in Lakesh. Yeah. So I hear the Gnostic nomenclature of words, I call it, the Gnostic ring of some words, the Gnostic words, not the surface-created, mimicked etymology words, I might say. So namaste to me, the namaste, the general meaning everyone throws around is, I see the light in you that's in me. That's what most people, when they say namaste, you ask them what does that mean, that's what they'll tell you, right? That's what everybody else has told them. That's a horizontal way of living. Is it even namaste then? Is it? Think about it. Because I've said the definition of spiritual is being vertical in your own light column, or you can be horizontal, just made up of others, and that's those organic portals, the 2D people, the flatlanders, right? Obviously there's both, and we can do both, but there does seem to be these people who are the flatlanders, and there does seem to be people who are much more esoteric and much more spiritual than me out there. I feel I'm quite balanced. Like, I don't feel too either way, you know. Anyway, so the Gnostic nomenclature of Namaste, and that's funny, but I've never realized that before. They've picked it up horizontally, you know. Anyway, so, and is that even Namaste?
Yeah.
So Namaste, what people will tell you it means like, I see the light that's in you, you know, it's the same light in you that's in me, and I'm seeing it. So in Lakesh to me, and then people say in Lakesh, and they say, no, let's do it the way I was going to do it. I was going to connect the two. Sorry, we'll stay on Namaste for a second. I'll finish Namaste before I move on. So Namaste to me really means, I see the name, I see your language. Terence McKenna came out and he said, everything's made of language, not little balls floating in some space. And I've shown you via dimensional creation how this might occur. As word, as the primal creator, we can see it reverberally refracticated in, you know, as above, so below in our life, in the below part. To me, Namaste and seeing the name or the light or the language, the primal word of the creator, is going through the down-dimensional process of creation to create things in second dimensionality. We have objects floating around in front of us and stuff. Namaste means to me not directly what everyone's saying. It means to me something deeper. Namaste to me means that I'm seeing, yes, the light in you, but the light has language. I can see what language you're using to me, and then imagine every other thing that you could have said. Why did they choose to say that? You know? And that's what it's saying. It means, you know, yeah, I can see you fully. Basically, it's saying I can see right all the way into your language, to your coding. I can see your nervous system. I remember a video I was watching by Teal Swan. Do you know Teal Swan? No, okay.
No.
Well, a lot of people in the sort of New Age movement will know her, and Teal Swan has a lot of great videos. Awesome, a lot of good videos. And she was saying, now I've forgotten where I was up to. Again, I'll stop the tape. So Teal Swan in her video was saying how she can see people's nervous system, because she's a healer like me as well, and she'd be a starseed indigo and all this stuff. And so she's a healer like me, and she's saying how she can see people's nervous systems, and yeah, I can too. And I actually pick it up so quickly that I can't spend more than a few hours in the computer laboratory where I am right now at university, because I'm an empath and we pick it up real quick. And that's why we have to know how to meditate. And not become it, not become their self-fulfilling psychopathic subconscious prophecies of us. That's what's happening. I'm sick of it. Anyway, what I was saying about Namaste and Teal Swan, she was saying she can see people's nervous systems now. Yeah, so can I. And many of the starseed indigos and stuff, we can do this intuitively and induction reasoning and etc. And you can see it physically. Physical correlations too, and demeanor and posture and everything, etc. So yeah, we can see that. But when you're saying Namaste, you're saying I'm not just seeing your nervous system or your cells or your inflammation or your thoughts or whatever. You're saying I can see everything when you say Namaste. That's what you're saying when you say Namaste. And in other words, yeah, it is basically saying I'm seeing the light in you that is the same light in me, which is that light, which is God. The light is God, and it's a still single light. When it's all motional light, think atoms, they're moving, come from. Now, when I'm saying Namaste, you're connecting all the way through. So I just wanted to expand that whole meaning for people. Now, in Lakesh, and why I say in Lakesh Day, it's because I've done a portmanteau, connected the words. But in Lakesh means, to me, in Lakesh means etched from the same field, light field. In Lakesh, it almost says it, in etched, like it almost says etched. That's what it sounds like almost, you know. That's why this Gnostic nomenclature of words, I want everyone to look at words. Now, this whole last section here, where we've been talking about this esoteric stuff, is like completely a different talk now. So this is just like a bonus track on a CD. Anyway, so I'm about to finish. So in Lakesh, means to me etched from the same field, you know. People go around saying in Lakesh means I am another you. That's what people horizontally will say. They've picked it up from someone else and they'll repeat it. That's horizontal picking up and repeating. That's all surface stuff. Now, to me, when I thought about it, I went inward and onward and upward and so on, and I had a real good think about it. I thought, yeah, it means etched from the same field. So I'm not changing the meaning of either words. I'm just trying to add meaning for you all to see better. That's all. So in the cache, etched from the same field. Fifth dimensional field, the loop and warp of web. And what are we moving into now? This age of Aquarius, this precession of Aquarius, precession of equinox Aquarius. This age of Aquarius is going to be love and all that, return to divine feminine and etc. I know it all. I know about it all. But there's something else that people haven't explained, and that is very esoteric because only the starseed indigos are talking about it, and the new ages and all this. We're heading into 5D Earth, they say. That's what everyone's talking about. That's the latest craze in the spiritual realms. And we're heading to 5D Earth. Huzzah! Yeah, finally, buddy. So 5D Earth is, like, remember I said before, third dimensionalities are eddies and zonal realities? That's the third dimension. Fifth dimension is this living light membrane, and it's shared meaning and telepathy. And what it really is, if you think about it, it's the membrane. It's a living light membrane. Now, why am I focusing on the membrane part? Because our cells, we've found out through biology of perception via Bruce Lipton and other people's work, that we used to think the nucleus of the cell was the smart part, like the brain running the operation. Now we've found out the outside of the membrane of the cell has intelligence in letting things in and out. And it's got some intelligence about it. And actually the nucleus is more like a little factory that receives orders. So the fifth dimensional Earth would be then, hence the correlation. We can see it already. I've said water is a fifth dimensional correlate. How does water work? It absorbs memory. It's just like the fifth dimensional light is an unpolarized light ready to receive, and it's ready to receive the sixth dimensional geometry and archetypy. It's got to put down into lower dimensions and the tones and whatever else from the higher dimensions, right? So
It's good.
sorry, I lost track again of what I was saying. So yeah, the fifth dimensional Earth is that same idea. We're all going to come into shared, loving telepathic alignment. What's that mean? Well, we should get the fuck off the planet and go to space. That should be our shared meaning, because we're doing inward resource cannibalism, using oil to gather coal and etc. We can be using the sun to get enough energy to make everybody out of poverty, everybody in their correct positions, so no static in humanity, and then blast off into an abundant universe where there's way more than enough. There's 6 times more iron ore on Mars than there is on Earth. So this is the shared telepathic alignment that's going to come about on Earth, and also another one would be to love everyone, and etc. So there's going to be all these shared meanings. That's a fifth dimensional ideology, or that comes from the fifth dimension. It's a facet of the fifth dimensionality. So 5D Earth means, yeah, moving into love and all this stuff and telepathic alignment and all that. But do you see what 5D Earth really is? And can you see the internet's doing it too? It's working along with the resonances of the zeitgeist of the times in creating physical correlation. Because everything's downloaded into making physical things, so we shouldn't just be against having physical things. We just shouldn't let physical things rule us. So you can see that 5D Earth then is going to be a connected state, right? So that's all this 5D Earth really means. Very extrapolated. I just haven't heard a lot of people say it all the way through, sort of thing. All the connections there. So I've told you a lot today about the fifth dimension, so you should be able to see that out in the world now. I'm feeling like shutting the video off and doing something else, so I hope I've helped you all today. And we need to thank Melissa for donating and getting me revved up enough to talk, revving up the engine of me to talk, and giving me a chance to get everything I know and think out there. So this is Benjamin Cowenberg from Consciousazine.com, and I hope you all have a good day. Is anything else you wanted to say quickly, Melissa, at all? Or?
No, that's fine. Perfect.
I think it's been a pretty good talk. I might connect this to video 1. I have done a video with Melissa already before. All these videos are in the Consciousazine playlist on YouTube. Yeah. In Lakeshte! See you, everyone.